Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Hope y'all are all having a fantastic day. It's just been another crazy week. The kids officially get out of school today for winter break. And I just don't know that I'm 100% mentally prepared for it because I'm just like, they're going to be with me for how long? Actually, I need my Google Calendar open because I need to do something else. But one of the first things, y'all, my pen has disappeared. My pen has disappeared. My cat, y'all, I've never had a cat before. I've never had an indoor cat. We'll call it that. Because I grew up in the country. We had barn cats, like cats that lived outside. There was no litter box. There was no food. There was no feeding them on a regular basis. And so I don't know anything about cats. And the one that we have is a barn cat. Like that's where he came from, my parents' little farm. And he woke me up all night last night. And then he broke a picture frame in our house this morning. And I'm just like, dude, get your life together. Get your life together. Look, I was sitting there blaming the cat that my pen went missing. Y'all, this is just the type of week, it's the type of year that it's been. What are we going to do when we can't blame everything on 2020 anymore? Like, for real, what are we going to do whenever we just kind of have to? Melanie is in the house. She says, the country? No. As I sit here in my camo, no, that girl ain't country. What you talking about? I heard that frame break. Yes. So Melanie, me, her, and Heather Sager, we are on the most fantastic group chat ever. And I was in the middle of talking about how much this cat was driving me crazy last night. He kept jumping up on me in the middle of the night, mid-sentence. I'm speaking this out loud. Mid-sentence, something falls and shatters and goes into a million pieces. And that damn cat had knocked a picture frame off of the counter. To be fair, the frame was already broken and it should have been thrown away already, but that's not the point. He knocked it off again. Okay, so we are going to get into what we're going to do today because I actually have a very special call with my girls and we're doing some planning for next year that I'm really excited about. So I got to get this done before I go chat with them. And I got some really cool stuff to talk about. First and foremost, I didn't want to actually do some of this stuff before we got started because this is one of the first things I'm going to talk about today. So we're doing a live recording of the Poddy People. If you didn't know that, hi, hello, welcome. That's what we're doing here today. So Poddy, I always say Poddy People. It's the Poddy Report. Poddy People is my membership community. Very big difference. So Poddy Report episodes for next week. Now, if you're on Instagram, sorry, you can't see this, but I'm going to share with you my computer screen. Hang on. I'm going to share with you my Google Calendar because I think seeing is believing, because people are like, how do you get so much stuff done? How do you make this work? And I'm like, I'm organized in my calendar. And this may surprise you. So again, if you're on Facebook, YouTube, you can see this. Instagram, sorry, I can't share my screen on there because it's a whole thing. But let me go here. Okay, so the boys are off for winter break. And you're like, Crystal, you have nothing on your calendar. That's because I put all of my big stuff digitally and all my daily stuff here. So that's what we're working with. So let's just clear the air. That's what's going on. But what I want to talk about is how these episodes are going to fall, because this is part of the planning process. And this is just me kind of prompting you for what's about to go down in this episode I'm about to record. So I'm actually going to make this a little bit smaller. And then, did you see that? We're going to go, it didn't work. It already went away. I was going to say it's one of those like nesting dolls of everything. Hang on. have to share another screen. Melanie, I know you're here live. Can I do another screen with my Hindenburg? Like a screen and a screen and a screen, almost like it's a guest? I don't think that I can. But let me stop this. And let me share the whole screen. That's what I was trying to do. There we go. All is right in the world. I have fixed this. Okay. So, as we do with everything, first of all, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. Any comments, put them below. We got the little ticker going. And I'm going to make this, y'all. I don't know if y'all saw this the other day. I put out a little post calling myself out on how many tabs I will have open on my phone at any given moment. And I'd never felt so seen. So many of you were like, oh my gosh, me too. And I was like, yes, okay. I'm not the only one because my husband is like, you have 1,000 tabs open. That's not doing it for me. You need to shut some of those down. Okay, so we are going to talk about how I plan like any week with my podcast, how I do all that stuff. But this is going to be a podcast episode. Again, if you've never listened to Poddy Report, that's what we're doing. So first and foremost, if you're watching on Instagram, sorry you can't see this, but we do a mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yes, I literally do that every single time. And I know it looks really dumb. I don't know why it started like right in the middle. It's because I'm trying to do too many things here. Okay, so let's play. We do a mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, I hear myself. It looks fine. We're good to go. So press stop. Delete this. Go back. Now, this is very important. It's going to be very, very crucial in a second. I have my cup and I have a fresh bubble water. Okay. Fresh sparkling water. It's going to play into it in a second. Don't worry. There's no stunts. Don't worry. This isn't a stunt double. It's me. It's Crystal. I'm here. The stunts that we're performing today, no animals were harmed. Don't worry. I'm not working with any knives or anything like that because I would never be able to do that and talk at the same time. I would definitely hurt myself. So let's get going. Welcome back to another episode of the Poddy Report. So today I'm actually recording this week's episodes live. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We're all over the place. And what I want to share with you today. So if you're watching this live, if you're listening to this, I wanted to share with you some of the weird, quirky things that I do before I start recording my podcast, because I think that this is important. If this is something that you've wondered about, or if this is something that's important to you, then you'll appreciate this. So first and foremost, before I record anything, before I sit down to do a live video, before I record my podcast, before I do a masterclass, anything like that, I go to the bathroom. No, you're like, wait, Crystal, is that really relevant? We don't need to know about you going on your potty breaks, but it's true. Like, y'all, have had 3 kids. I have a tiny bladder. It's just, my sister-in-law calls me tiny tanks. It is part of who I am. It is my identity, and I don't fight it because I've been behind the microphone and had to pee really bad, and there's not much you can do. I mean, obviously you can stop and go to the bathroom. I mean, because you're not an animal, but if you're on live video and you're like, crap, I didn't go to the bathroom, you don't want to be in that situation. I've been in that situation. Thankfully, it wasn't on like a live recording. It was with a student of mine. And I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I will be right back. I will be right back. I'm going to clear the air right now because I'm pretty sure I pretended that I needed to go check on my son, but really I just had to go pee really bad and I don't want to tell them. So this is just between us. Okay. This is just between us. We're just sharing. We're just being vulnerable. We're doing all the authentic things that people tell us to do. Maybe this is a little bit like TMI. You don't want to hear all this stuff, but it's too late. The cat's out of the bag. Can't put them back in. The toothpaste is out of the tube. It's not going back in. So it's just what it is. What are some of the other quirky things that I do? So actually, like I said, I'm recording live. I get a drink. I wonder if you can hear this. I don't know if you can hear this or not. I'm pouring a bubble water. Now, I've told y'all this before. Maybe you've heard it on here. Maybe you've heard it on the Prophet podcast. It's funny because I don't drink. I don't drink alcohol. But I love me some bubble waters. This is actually the Costco brand. For anybody wondering, we buy these by like the pallet. I'm not joking. Like I say that and you're like, oh, Crystal, that's cute. No, really. We buy them. We buy so many of them when we go to Costco. So I always have a drink with me. I always have water. I always have something because I have found myself, especially if I was doing a live recording and I get caught up, like I just like, you get that something in your throat and you're like, I need to clear my throat, but I can't. I'm dying. Do I need to cough? Like what's actually happening? You need some kind of water or something next to you whenever you're recording. Now, having said that, carbonated water, carbonated beverages aren't the best thing because they can make you burp. That's like, we're just going to be gross and just be real honest today. They can make you burp. And no one really wants to hear that on a podcast, but I'm telling you what I do because I'm not going to tell you don't have carbonated beverages and not out myself and say I have carbonated beverages. But that's all I have for you today. I'm going to share some other quirks in the next episodes over the next few days, but that's all I have for this one. I don't want to share too much too soon because then you're going to be like, I'm done listening to this show. I don't want to hear any more of it. So that's all I have for you today. Remember, keep it fresh, keep it fun, and just keep going. Okay. So if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you notice I let it go a little long here. That's because I've cut myself off before. So what I'll do is kind of go back and like trim it down just a little bit more. So I'm going to save this in my Poddy Report episodes. Where are they? Oh, there we go. I did a lot of test clips the other day. So I'm going to call this quirks when recording, if I can spell today, recording my podcast. Okay, that's done. I can go ahead and export this. So I'm going to here. There's just one last thing that I have to do later. I think I saved that in the wrong spot, but I'll go back and find it. Okay, so I see Sage. Hi, Sage. So happy that you're here. He says, do you prefer to have live or recorded podcast? So it just depends. I do this is my daily podcast that I'm doing live here because I like to do the interaction with y'all and I like to be able to answer your questions. I'm actually going to answer this question on one of the future episodes. So this is a great one. And I'll give you a little shout out because I like interacting with my audience. I think it's a great way to get to know them a little bit better and see what they want to hear from you. And you can get immediate feedback that's very, very helpful to let you know whether you're on the right track or not. So yes, great question. Great question. But there are pros and cons to it too. So we can talk about that. But first, I want to go into, hang on, let me write my notes down. Planning live versus recorded. Sage, I'm going to give you a shout out for that one. And then we have, this is important in a second. We have Christmas Eve. And then we have Christmas Day. Okay, you'll understand what I'm talking about in 1 second. So I'm gonna get a little drinky poo. And we are ready to go. Because I already tested my microphone, I don't do it for every single one of these because I know unless I change something, unless I hit a button, knock something around, it's going to be fine. So we're just going to keep recording. If you're watching live and you have any other comments or if you have any questions, put them in the comments and I will address those. We can do a little Q&A at the end. So here we go. Welcome back to another episode of the Poddy Report. So today I wanted to share with you a little bit about planning podcast episodes. And specifically, because I know there's tons of planning episodes of this podcast that you can go back and listen to, but I'm actually live right now on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and I'm sharing my calendar because this is important. I know a lot of people have calendars, they have project management systems, they have planners. There's all kinds of things that you can incorporate into how you plan your content. But today I specifically wanted to share how I do my things because I know people want to know. So as of me recording this, I'm actually recording this on the 18th of December, 2020. So it's a week before these episodes air. And the reason why I do this is because I like to be ahead, one, but I also like to find a time where I can do these live videos and interact with my audience and be able to chat with them. So, but what I do, and if you didn't go back and listen to Monday's episode where I talked about quirks and little funky things that I do before I start recording live, but then after that, like after I get situated, I'm in my chair, I'm behind the mic, and I'm looking at what do I want to talk about for the week, I actually look at the dates on the calendar first and see what is going on. Now, for this podcast, I don't do a lot of promotion. I don't do a lot of self-sponsored ads. I don't do a lot of calls to action other than joining us in our free Facebook group, because that's really where I want you to come hang out with our community of podcasters. But one thing that I do with the Profit Podcast that I do slightly different is I'll look at my promotional calendar, but I don't have one of those for the Poddy Report, so it's not really relevant. So I have my Google Calendar open and I'm looking at it and I can see, okay, this particular episode is going to air on Tuesday, December 22nd. Why is that important? Because if this episode aired on Friday, December 25th, well, that's Christmas. That's a lot of times where businesses are closed, people may be doing something out of their normal routine. And so I want to be aware of that. And I want to know of how this episode is going to air. So not just your typical, I air every Tuesday, so no matter what on Tuesday, I'm going to put out an episode. Well, you don't want to be tone deaf to what's going on in the world. And you want to be kind of cognizant of what your audience is expecting, or what kind of want to set up those expectations of, hey, on major holidays, I don't put out like intense content. I put out something that's a little bit more lighthearted and easier to digest, because I know maybe you're wrapping Christmas presents right now. Maybe you're doing the laundry. Maybe you're folding clothes. Maybe you're, last minute shopping and you're riding in the car and you're like, I can listen to Crystal's episodes real fast because they're less than 5 minutes. Whatever it is that you're doing, I want you to think about how you're planning your episodes and how that is going to affect your audience and what's going on in the week whenever those episodes air. But that's all I have for you today. So remember, keep it fresh, keep it fun, and just keep going. Okay. So that one, again, if you've never listened to the Poddy Report, these episodes are 5 minutes or less, which is what I love. I love about it. Actually, my husband asked me the other day, he's like, you know that daily podcast? Are you still doing that? Like every week? You do it every week? I'm like, yeah, I do it every week. What are you talking about? Of course I do it every week. Planning your podcast content by the week. Oh, by the week. I guess I'm used to writing by the way. And I wrote painting. It's all right, I'll fix it later. I'm not worried about it. That kind of stuff doesn't bother me. I'm usually the only one that's in here. I have a project manager that helps me, but she doesn't typically. She'd probably lose her mind if she came in here and was like, Crystal, you've misspelled so many things. This is not going to work for me. Yellow shoelaces. What a name. What a name. Yellow shoelaces on YouTube. What a name. I love this so much. It says, I love your voice. Well, thank you, because there's not much I can do about it. So thank you so much. Oh my gosh. I don't know if it's my country accent. I don't know if it's the camouflage that's bringing it out in me today, or the fact that it's Friday and I have just lost my mind, because it's just that time. It's that time of the day and I need some coffee. I normally have my coffee before I record, and I didn't do that today. So And Sage, I was going to answer your question in this next episode, but I'm going to have to hold on to it because next Wednesday is something really special. It's something really special. So you're going to find out what it is. So this is going to be a really short episode. Okay. Welcome back to another episode of the Poddy Report. Now, I don't typically do this, but I'm going to be a little self-indulgent in today's episode because when it airs, it will be my birthday. It will be my birthday, December 23rd. And I just got to be really honest with you. I don't really care about my birthday. So I'm just throwing it out there. I'm going to be a little self-indulgent to tell you I don't really care about my birthday simply because I didn't have it instilled at me from a really young age to be excited about my birthday. Because as you can imagine, a child that was born on December 23rd, right, 2 days before Christmas, doesn't really get a chance to get super excited about their birthday because why? Because Christmas is going on. Christmas is going on, y'all. That is what is happening. So when my husband and I first met and he was like, when's your birthday? And we were talking about all the, important dates in our lives, and his is in June, so he has no idea what it's like. He was like, I had a big party, and it was the summertime, and, we would have friends over, and we had sleepovers, and I'm like, all of my friends would usually be gone to their families' homes, or I would be out of town at a Christmas party. I used to tell my parents, I don't even want to hear the word Christmas. I don't hear Christmas music. I don't want to see Christmas wrapping paper. This is another thing. Listen up. If you have friends that were born in December around Christmas, do not, I repeat, do not give them birthday presents wrapped in Christmas paper. Okay? And I get this because my youngest son, has a December birthday too. So I see him. I see him in all of his glory of his December birthday, and he will never, ever get a birthday present wrapped in Christmas paper from this mama. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But anyway, it's my birthday today. And I felt just, I don't know, entitled to tell you today was my birthday and I'm excited. And I know I've said it like 6 times because, like I said, I didn't really get to celebrate my birthday a lot growing up. And you know what? We're probably not going to do anything extravagant today. I'm hoping that maybe we'll go get to eat hibachi. Like that's my indulgent thing that we do maybe 3 times a year. And it's so much fun. I know with COVID and social distancing and masks and all the things, I don't know that is going to be a reality. But man, if we could just get some really good takeout today, that would be fabulous. But that's all I have for you today. So remember, keep it fresh, keep it fun, and just keep going. Okay, I know, I told y'all. It was super silly, but this is why I like doing this podcast, because it allows me to share with you a different side of me. So my birthday podcast. So we're going to title that one. Sounds right. It sounds fitting. That's what we're going to call this one. And I saved that last one. Oh no, maybe I did save it in the right place. Oh gosh, I just created a shortcut. Hang on. See, I shouldn't be in charge. I shouldn't be allowed to touch the files in here because I will mess them up. I'm like, oh great. See, do you want to replace it? No. What happened? I'm gonna have to figure it out because I started clicking on stuff and I may have broke something. So I'm just, Mother Francis. Already, yeah. No. Y'all, I'm breaking stuff. In real time, I'm breaking stuff. If I click yes, I'm afraid it's going to replace something that I didn't want it to replace. Oh no. I feel like I need to hit cancel before we do anything wrong. Okay, save. Now can I export this? Okay. Y'all, I was afraid I was really about to break something. Okay, now it's exporting. Okay, here we go. Like we are back for this. Okay. Facebook user, I don't know who this is. What is the best way to do a podcast with only one person? Do you lead with questions and you answer them? Just asking because I'm just starting. Okay, hang around for this one. Stay just hold on because I have 2 episodes to do for the Poddy Report. These are going to be short and sweet, and then I'm going to answer your question because this is a really good one. And I got to tell you, I love solo podcast, and I have so many ideas for you for solo podcast. Yeah. Sage says, I will be waiting because I need to answer his question and I need to give you a shout out on the Poddy Report. 100%. You won't have to wait too long. I promise. I'm going to write this down. It's going to be the week after Christmas. Then I'm going to give you a shout out. So it's going to happen. It's coming. It is coming. Okay. So Christmas Eve episode, short and sweet, super fast. Here we go. Welcome back to another episode of the Poddy Report. So I know that today may be a little bit different for you. Maybe you had to work today. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you are listening to this and you're still in your pajamas and it's 7 o'clock at night and you're like, I didn't even take them off from the day before because it's Christmas Eve and I'm not going anywhere. We're going to have a Zoom Christmas. We're just going to do whatever we want to do. I get you. And I see you. But I wanted to put out an episode today telling you thank you so much. I am so grateful for the podcast community that has been around in 2020, that has shown up time and time again, week after week, as we put out this podcast, because y'all make it so much fun. Like, I'm not going to lie, like the weird, quirky things that I'm able to share and to hear your reaction to it is just everything. For those of you that send me DMs on Instagram, for those of you that send me Facebook messages and you send me emails about something really ridiculous that I said in one of these episodes, it just makes me laugh and it just makes me show up again every single week because this is so much fun for me. I love podcasting so much and y'all make it that much more fun. So for this special Christmas Eve episode or whatever holiday that you are celebrating this holiday season, I wanted to say thank you so much to the Poddy Report community. And I hope that you have a happy holidays. And I just cannot wait to see what happens in the next 12 months, because I want us to look back on all of 2020, all of 2021 and say, you know what? I had a blast podcasting. I don't care about the downloads. I don't care about the sales in your business. I don't care about any of that. I want you to look back 12 months from now and say, I had so much fun with my podcast, with my audience, with the content that I was creating. And I'm so dang proud to be a podcaster because I put this charge out on the Profit Podcast. And one of my big audacious goals for 2021, it makes me nervous to say it still, but it's like, I just got to put it out there. I want to help podcasters, everyone in this podcast community. I want all of us to hit 1 million downloads by December 2021. Oh my gosh. What? Like, are you kidding me? That sounds insane, but it's one of my big goals for 2021 is to have a community of podcasters that bands together, that helps encourage each other and support their shows and have 1 million podcast downloads in 2021. So I'm throwing it out there. And I wanted to just say thank you so much for being a part of this community. Thank you for hanging out with us every single week. And as always, remember, keep it fresh, keep it fun, and just keep going. Okay. So it felt a little weird, right? Because you're like, wait, Crystal, it's not Christmas Eve. What are you talking about? But it is for the people listening to that episode on Christmas Eve episode. Done. And I'm going to go ahead and export it. There's a WAV file in the right place. I didn't break anything on that one. All right. Last episode. And then if you have any other questions, put them in the comments. Put questions in the comments. I'm going to try to make this one under 3 minutes. Woo! Challenge accepted. Okay. Welcome back to another episode of the Poddy Report. Now, you may be thinking, Crystal, it's Christmas. Do you not ever take a break from your podcast? And I have to tell you, yes, I do. Trust me, I do. I have plenty of time whenever I step away from the podcast and I'm not recording, I'm not thinking about equipment, I'm not thinking about the next piece of content that I need to create. But I want to tell you, I plan my content strategically to show up in front of you so you don't forget about me. That's really what it all comes down to. I want you, as you look forward into the new year and you're planning things, I want you to remember that you can come back to this podcast time and time again, that your old pal Crystal is hanging out in her free Facebook group waiting for you to come share your latest podcast win. And because it's a Friday and because it's Christmas, whenever we're releasing this episode, I just wanted to say happy holidays. I hope that you will come back to us, come back fresh next week for New Year planning. We're going to set some intentions. We're going to set some goals. And if you happen to hear what we were talking about yesterday, we're shooting for 1 million downloads in 2021, and I want you to be a part of it. So whether you've already launched your podcast or you haven't, I want you to come back around next week so you can learn how we can do this collectively as a team and make it happen. But that's all I have for you today. So remember, keep it fresh, keep it fun, and just keep going. Okay. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. I don't really know what that was, but wrap it up. So, Christmas episode done and done. So all of my episodes are done for next week. Now, in a perfect world, I would have all my episodes for the next week totally done. I don't, and I'm not about to do them right here because this is not, it's not gonna work. Okay, now we are going to answer some questions. So let's go back to, and I don't know who this is. It just says Facebook user. Oh, hang on. Let me get a little sip of my drink. What is the best way to do a podcast with only one person? Do you lead with questions and you answer them? Just asking because I'm just starting. So I can give you my advice for whenever I first started, and I did just that. I kind of pretended like I was talking to someone that I knew needed the information that I had in my head, but maybe just didn't know how to ask it. So this is a great, and I'm like a huge fan of like role playing in your head where you're imagining sitting down for a cup of coffee or, a meal, whatever it would look like for you to interact with someone in your audience. And you say, okay, what questions would they ask me? And you can say, and I've done this several times. If you want to go listen to episodes of the Profit Podcast, I have where I say, hey, I took a question from the community and here's how I would answer it. And I literally will read a question that I saw in my Facebook group, in someone else's Facebook group. It's just a question about my topic. And I would say, I wouldn't read the person's name unless you have their permission. But I would say, this question came up in this group and it is blah, blah, blah. You read the question. Here's how I would answer that. And you start just talking about how you would answer it. So that's how I got started with solo podcasts. It's kind of how I honed my skills on being able to talk to myself, right? Because it's awkward. You're like, it's awkward, just me and this microphone. And then that's like it. No one's actually in here with me, but I have to pretend that someone asked me this question. So I get it. I hear you. I understand you. You are not alone. If you feel awkward, you are not alone in feeling weird about talking to yourself in a room. I get it. I totally get it. I think we've all felt that. Just a follow up to the solo podcast question, how long should or could it be? I just want to be relevant, innovative. Thanks for all that you do. Well, thank you so much for saying that. I love that you're asking this question. Simply just tells me that you're in it, like, right? You're not just kind of jacking around. You're trying to intentionally create your podcast. And I would tell you there's no right answer to this. I know that's not what you want to hear. You're like, no, just tell me the exact amount. Tell me that it needs to be at 30.1 minutes with exactly this much music and this much talking about the podcast, this much talking about my topic, this much doing the outro. There's no magic formula. There really isn't. And if you talk to other podcasters that have been doing it for like 6 months, they'll tell you, I started this way, but then I realized I liked it better this way, so I pivoted. So just know that whatever way you start it today may not be how your podcast will look in 6 months, but you got to get started in order to get to that innovation, to get to that, like, okay, I'm going to change things up. So I will tell you how I started, and then you can kind of take it or leave it. But how long should or could it be? If you're just getting started, I like to tell my brand new solo podcasters to shoot for 15 minutes. Now, for me, I'm like, oh my God, 15 minutes? That's it? That's all I have? Because I could talk for hours and hours. Literally could talk for hours and hours about podcasting. But I know that if you're just getting started, you're dealing with brand new technology, most likely. You're dealing with editing. The longer your episodes are, the longer it's going to take you to edit. And then how long could it be? It could be up to an hour, but you don't want to do that. Don't do that to yourself in the beginning. When someone tells me they want to have a podcast that's an hour long, I normally don't talk for an hour. When I do, my episodes are anywhere between, I would say they've been averaging around 25 minutes the last month and a half, unless I do an interview, and those will get up to about 45, but I'm like getting on the shorter end of episodes. So I would recommend starting anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes. I think that's a fantastic place to start. It's manageable. And then you're saying, I just want to be relevant and innovative. Well, you just showing up and sharing your message and being yourself will help you be relevant and innovative. Don't try to copy anybody else. Because again, I could tell you the formula for a successful podcast. It doesn't exist. It really doesn't. I think that the people that do this so well are the people that just show up completely as themselves and just tell their stories and share information that is helpful to their audience. It saves them time. It saves them money. It saves them energy. It inspires them. It motivates them. It just entertains them. Like, I listen to podcasts for sheer entertainment. There's no other purpose why I listen to them other than, like, I'm a huge super fan. So perfect example, the Office Ladies podcast. It's my favorite podcast. It's my favorite. Does it help save me money? No. Does it help save me time? No. Does it help my business? No. I love it because I love The Office, and I love how Angela Kinsey and Jenna Fisher show up 100% as themselves, and they're quirky and they're weird, and they share these behind the scenes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that. But it makes me love them more. So I want you to think about that. Like, the way to be innovative is to be yourself and to just share stories that only you can share. So that's my advice. I hope that helps. If you're still watching here and you have any other questions, let me know. Yes. And Keenan says, yes. I don't know what that was to. I don't know if that was to the length of the show, but yes, we are in agreement on something. So thank you, Keenan, for that. I love that so much. Okay. So does anybody have any other questions? Because I'm going to sign off. I got to get ready for a super cool meeting that I have with two of my business besties. We're planning 2021. I'm excited. I'm a little nervous. And I need a cup of coffee because I can feel it. I can feel it hitting me. If you missed the first part of this video, my cat, God bless him. That's what I'll say. God bless him. He kept me up all night. And I need some coffee. Because it's 1:40 where I am, 1:40 p.m. And it's getting, I don't know if it's like in a storm outside. It's like getting dark. I'm like, I need something. I need a little coffee to get me through this Friday afternoon. So thank y'all so much for being here. Yes, again, I don't know who this is. I wish I could see your name, Facebook user, but thank you so much for being here, asking your questions. I try to do these every week. With next week being holidays, I don't know that we'll do a live recording session, but I'll be back. You won't be able to get rid of me that easy. So everybody have a fantastic weekend, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.